having said all these things, and in all honesty, seriously wanting to have the seven seals be Old Testament, the seven trumpets New Testament, or at least the seven plagues, and so forth and so on. Like I said quite a few weeks ago, there are problems with that. While the seven seals seem to set it up that way, when we get into looking at the seven trumpets, there are problems. Especially with the first four, it talks about trees and the earth, and then the water, and then the rivers, and so forth and so on. And how do you fit that into New Testament times? One could refer to a number of Old Testament passages where the Lord refers to, well, in Zechariah, the Lord refers to the cedars of Lebanon. He talks about the bulls of Bashan. You go back to Nebuchadnezzar. In his dream, he's a tree, and so forth and so on. But while those things do, what do you say, fit in, and could be used, it's a bit of a stretch. It's a bit of a stretch. So, while it would be nice, it isn't always probable. It isn't always a, I don't know how to put it, good thing to say thus and thus. Now I recognize also in the coming summaries of the seven seals, I'm going to present another idea that, as I was going through this, struck me. And I understand that one can get confused, get frustrated, and end up saying, well, if there's so many different possibilities, who's to know and who's to say, and why even bother? I mean, I understand that. But let's put it in this perspective, or put it this way. When you watch a movie for the first time, you're interested in, and you get caught up in, or not, the basic story. And supposing you like the movie, the more you watch it, right? The more you watch it, the more you see, the more you catch, the more you find. And if we use that example in connection with Revelation, in connection with all of Scripture, it's not quite as frustrating. Or at least it shouldn't be. Simply because the more you read it, the more you're going to get out of it, the more you're going to see, the more connections you're going to make. And that simply goes to show, as Paul says, what is the height and the breadth and the width and the depth of God's love, of His mercy, of His word. You know, the more you dig, the deeper you dig. As we mature in life, problems, things change. And so the word doesn't change with us, but given our current situation, we find in passages that we learned, that we understood, something more. So just wanted to encourage you. While I present yet another possibility in the next